Everyone, welcome to the Livelong Podcast, where we believe your health is your power and we want you to live a longer and better life. My name is Erin Hunter, and I am the senior editor here at Livelong Media. And today I'm very excited because we're joined by Dr. Raleigh Duncan. Dr. Duncan is the founder and CEO of Clearlight, an infrared sauna technology company. And his mission is to pioneer health and help people heal and thrive and feel good and live better. And so today we're really going to break down what happens to our body as we age and why using light could be this crazy tool that supports living longer and having less disease burden and being able to navigate life with more flexibility, independence, and feeling good every day. But really quick before we jump into that, I just wanted to mention that our Women's Health Summit is fast approaching. So be sure to head to our website and get a ticket using my name, Erin, at checkout, because you're going to get reduced pricing for that. And so I am so excited to dive into the show now and welcome Dr. Duncan.
Hi,
Hi,
nice to be here, Erin.
thank you for joining us. Um, I really enjoyed talking to you right before this because the way I thought about it and the way you mentioned how uh your goal is to help people heal. And funny enough, it's like, oh, so you use light to help people heal. And that's a really crazy thing to think about because you have the sun, which is a source of light. We need that for vitamin D, but you're not necessarily using sunlight. You're using something called infrared light. And so, for a quick recap for folks who don't know much about what infrared light is, can you explain what that is and how it's used in a therapeutic setting?
Sure. So I'm in an infrared sauna right now. You'll see these black things behind me, and these are infrared heaters. And so these are not visible light, but they're tuned in very close to the same wavelengths that we give off from our bodies. There's near, mid, and far. And this is more in the far infrared or the non-visible spectrum. And so it heats the body so that you can release toxins, relax muscles. And then we also use what we call red light therapy, which is visible and non-visible light, and that works in the same in some deeper ways. So that's what we're going to be diving into, but it's all good.
It's so it's all good. All the light, it's all good. That's what you want to hear. But red light, when I think about red light, I think about the masks that women put on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
beauty. People say, "Oh, I use the red light therapy because they'll sometimes say things like, "Oh, it helps you with glowing skin. It helps with
Yes.
these things that are we can see." But I'm more curious right now to know what light does for our body and for our
Mhm.
cells. And so
Yeah,
maybe I thought we could start first with infrared, and then we can look at how that's different than red light
sure.
and just, yeah, start there.
So the non-visible part of the spectrum that's coming in, it will penetrate into the soft tissue of the body to heat it. And as that happens, you get a vasodilation, okay, which means that the blood vessels open up, and then your heart rate will start to increase. And then there's actually a vibration that happens. If you put the same wavelength into the body that the body puts out, you can actually get the cells to vibrate. And this has been studied, and that helps to cleave the toxin off so it can go in the bloodstream and then be eliminated through urine, feces, and through actually, we eliminate toxins by breathing the toxins out. So, that with the vasodilation, you're removing pain from the body, you're getting the toxins out of the body, you're going more into that parasympathetic state, the rest and digest. So we're removing stress at the same time. So that's kind of the nutshell approach of it and what happens physiologically. But who doesn't need that now in our fast-paced world, right?
So, and that's really interesting too, because not only is it lifestyle that is leading to a bunch of people feeling stressed all the time. Hello,
Mm.
like I'll raise my hand very big. I'm a nervous Nelly over here. But aging itself is a pretty big stressor, though. And so I'm curious how the hallmarks of aging, so like let's say we feel more tired, or maybe there's less uh strength, like we start to lose muscle
Mhm.
faster, all these things, brain fog. So the natural causes of aging, and that's highly contested, but oftentimes it comes down to inflammation and biological stress. Does light have the same effect on aging and the signs of aging?
So one of the things, and I'm talking more about near and red light, that comes up. I'm going to hold one of these up. This is how we will send out near and red light that actually reduces inflammation, as does sitting in the sauna. And inflammation is that silent killer. So it makes our bodies and our physiology go wonky. So if we can lower the inflammation and get back to that place where we don't have that feeling inside like we're running from a tiger or the stress response, then we're going to live longer. We're going to have more ease in our lives and less stress.
So what I think I'm trying to piece together in my brain too is how is an infrared sauna though different than a normal sauna?
Ah,
Because if they
great
both
question.
heat you,
Mhm.
like is shouldn't that have the same effect?
They do have some of the same effects, and I think the infrared is a little more advanced because in the box of hot rock sauna or the Finnish sauna, you're heating the air up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're great. When I'm traveling, that's where I go because that's all I can find a lot of times. But you're breathing in that very hot air, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you have to heat up the whole cabin so that the air is hot. The heated air is the heating medium in the Finnish sauna. In the infrared sauna, it's the wavelengths coming off the heaters, and we design our heaters so they surround you, and the wavelengths coming in, but the air temperature stays more comfortable, maybe 140 degrees. Big difference of your comfort of being able to stay in the sauna and breathe. Now, you still sweat like crazy. It feels really hot, but it's kind of it's not a fallacy or anything. It's just the air is not as hot as you are feeling, so it's easy to breathe.
And that's because the infrared sends waves instead of heat.
Yeah, so the infrared waves, like this heater behind me, will come through the air without giving up a large percentage of its energy until it hits the body. So it's a more concentrated energy, and it will go deeper into the soft tissue. So it's
Mm.
going to reach into the body, vasodilate, open up the blood vessels, and do all the things that saunas do. So it's a different animal. And it was interesting when I started the company about 30 years ago, the acceptance of infrared as a sauna was very low. I talked to people in Finland and they'd say, that is not the sauna, like just like that. But now there's great acceptance of infrared after all these years, and we're in that family now. Even when I go to Finland, so
So then why is it I feel like things become accepted when there's proof of concept, when people see it works.
yes.
How do you know if you're getting benefits from the infrared sauna?
Mhm.
And what does that look like for health and longevity? Like, what are some of those benefits more
Sure.
specifically?
So anyone that uses the infrared sauna, and I've been doing this a long time and using my own sauna, the first thing you'll see and feel in about a week's time, and everyone reports this back pretty much, is that the skin is softer. So why is that? Well, it's working from the outside in. So the skin, once you give up a lot of things that are in the skin, chemicals or impurities, things like that, through the sweat, you're going to have healthier skin. So that's the first indication that it's working. Then people report better sleeping, I use my sauna, and there's an actual curve that happens if you use a sauna. And when you go in that cool down period, so you want to use a sauna maybe an hour and a half before you want to sleep at night. And then in that cool down pattern, guess what gets released naturally in the body? Melatonin. So yeah, it's amazing. So then you,
Why?
yeah, it just happens. It's part of the physiology. So then you sleep better. Yeah, so that's how I know these things are working. And then muscle pain. I don't need a doctor to know that I've got this shoulder and it just hurts. And I go in the infrared sauna, I come out and the range of motion is better, the pain is down, and I just feel better, feel more energized.
Why though? I think so. For instance, let's say someone's dealing with frozen shoulder or you're in chronic pain and you go and use infrared sauna consistently.
Mhm.
How do waves of light reduce pain in your shoulder and make you feel not only more mobile, but it improves other variables and aspects of your life?
Well, physiologically, it's a very simple process. So I talked before about vasodilation. And what happens is that it's just a fancy word for the blood vessels open up. So when the blood vessels open up globally in the body, because we have heaters all around you, then the heart sees a drop in blood pressure and it goes, oh my gosh, get the heart pumping quick. We're losing pressure, guys. And so the heart will start to pump faster. Okay.
Okay.
And in that you're working the heart out. And that's the process that happened. But what was the I got off the main question was what?
No, I was just curious about how you noticed pain
Oh,
reduces.
so in that vasodilation of the blood moving faster through the body, pain releases a substance called substance P that was obviously named, and substance P is the in compound that goes into your nerves and localizes on the nerves, and then that's how you feel pain is through the release. So if I hit my hand with a hammer right now, it's going to note that and it's going to release a lot of things. It's going to try and immobilize the hand, and one of the things it does, it will release this substance P.
and and
And
substance.
then it will do things to make me feel better. But yeah, so
Okay.
that's one of the indicators. So by removing that through increasing of blood flow, I guess is the way that you're removing pain in that. And healthy tissue, a lot of tissue, if you're immobilized, let's see, the tissue is not moving. And you can't have health in tissue that's not moving, or a joint. So in that opening up and movement is getting the blood flow in and getting the toxins out, or the waste products out of that area. So you can look at substance P as a waste product.
Mm. So, would you mind then talking a little bit more about how sauna removes this idea of, you say, toxins? So,
Mhm.
I've heard toxins a lot, and I think a lot of folks who listen to this will probably be like, oh, toxins is, detoxing. Sometimes it's seen as a little bit like woo-woo, like the idea of you could just get rid of toxins. But
Mhm.
we kind of have to on a daily basis, but there's the real ways of removing toxins than the
Sure.
maybe a little bit more overhyped means. So, can you explain
Yeah.
how infrared works in that sense and why it's important for feeling better and aging better and whatnot?
Yeah. So one of the greatest studies that I've read on this subject, if you look up BUS studies, and it was university in Canada, and so blood, urine, and sweat. That's what the BUS studies in relation to getting in a sauna. So when you get in the sauna, and they measured what's happening in the sauna as far as a blood sample, urine sample, and sweat samples, and what they see is that the sauna initiates this ability for toxins and chemicals in the body to be released. And when I first read those studies many, many years ago, that was the biggest validation I've seen. So it's been shown that the toxins are exiting in this process of using saunas. And again, that goes back to the skin. Why is the skin feel softer? Why is it healthier? And that's if you're taking the toxins that are maybe residing in the tissue there and taking them out, you're going to have healthier tissue.
And so healthier tissue, then fundamentally, what does that mean for us besides it being more beautiful? I think what I'm curious about, and maybe what other people are
Yeah.
curious about, is why why does healthy tissue matter? What does it do for us? What's the end game for just having more of that flow?
Yeah. So I want to live a life with as much ability to do what I want as far as movement, as far as interaction with people. And so if I'm reduced by the amount of pain and stiffness and inflexibility, I can't live my life to the fullest. And also a healthy tissue is going to live longer. I would say maybe that's theoretical, but that kind of makes sense that you're not de-evolving, you're just, you're keeping healthy. So it's a healthy lifestyle, and healthy lifestyle kind of to me says my tissues are healthy. So anything that I can do to move the dime in that direction, I'm going to do. And it's interesting. I talked a little about a vasodilation and how that you actually will get your heart up to a working heart rate as if you were working out just sitting in the sauna. So I call that passive aerobics. So think of elderly populations. Maybe they can't get out and run a marathon, but most people, even in a nursing home, can sit in a sauna, get their blood vessels opened up, get their heart rate going, just for geriatric population. So that's it's not just living longer, so I can have another couple numbers on my gravestone, but it's being engaged, feeling good, and doing everything that I want to do in my life while I still can. Yeah.
It's really cool what you just said about using it to support older adults. And particularly, I don't know much about the landscape, but are they starting to incorporate more sauna into communities where older adults live who might be immunocompromised or have health conditions and they're using it to support them?
I've seen it, but more, parath- I've seen it. I can't give you any numbers. I guess but I have a feeling that it's as it gets more into the culture that'll show up. I'd actually thought at one time we should go out and just go to all the retirement homes, but we were busy going to firehouses for a long time, and we're still doing that. The firemen love our saunas because they, think
It's
of
not a
people.
joke, right? Because of the heat and the no, that's so interesting.
Yeah, firemen have really across the nation. I've gone. There's a big firemen's convention every year in Indianapolis. I've been there a few times, and they are breathing in all these chemicals. They're always looking ways to get these chemicals out of their bodies. And yeah,
Ooh,
think of that.
ooh. So, ask you, why did you end up coming upon sauna more than any other intervention like diet or fitness or sleep support? Like so many things exist for health, but why sauna for you? Like what
Oh, well, that just because I'm an advocate and an owner of a sauna company doesn't mean that I'm not doing all the other things that will help me to live a long time. I adopted a raw food lifestyle for a couple years. I'm not vegetarian now, but I was then. So I'm always looking at that because I want to live the best life that I can live while I'm here. And it's
I guess what I'm trying to ask is what what does sauna have? I guess what leg up does sauna have for living a long life that maybe cold plunges wouldn't, or that potentially like uh therapeutic plasma exchange or these crazy new therapies? Why, what is the edge of sauna that I
I,
think
yeah, I understand. I think the edge in saunas is that they have been around for thousands of years and used by cultures that some of the healthiest. So just, historically, if you think of Finnish people and Nordic people, these are some of the healthiest people, and they use their saunas religiously. It's part of their ritual, and saunas are everywhere. There's the temescal, and each culture has their own version of what a sauna is. So I call that ancient wisdom. Before we had pharmaceuticals, before anything, people would work in the fields and then they would get in their sauna. So I don't look at it as anything as a new fad. I think the infrared is a new application, definitely, but sauna is part of the woof and warp of the fabric of our lives as humans on this planet.
that's a really cool way to put it. And it puts it into perspective on a global scale.
Yes. Yeah, and we're just scratching the surface. I think there's sauna culture in Europe and definitely in Finland, but there's really, what I'm trying to do is to build a sauna culture here, and I see it changing. You look in New York City and all the big baths and wellness clubs that are there. Sauna is part of that everywhere. So because it just makes your life so much better, mentally, physically, emotionally. Can be a communal thing, family thing. It just answers a lot of questions for the problems that we have today.
If there's one problem that maybe you think sauna would be most helpful for, what do you think some of those major benefits are? And
I
like,
would,
is it best for brain or heart? Like in your experience?
I would say I would take it more on a global level.
Hmm.
We are all stressed out. We're all stressed out beyond our, from what humans are used to, and the stress is different because of this fast moving world we live in. So getting in the sauna takes that stress level down. And science has shown that stress is one of the number one killers. It's in the top five. So if you can reduce that, maybe for every sauna we put out, there's over a year, 100 kids that don't get yelled at as by their parents, in a nasty way. Or, I really look at it that way, of taking that stress level down so we can all be kinder to each other and
Hmm.
feel better. And that's I told you about my mission from years ago, that I wanted to help. Before I get off this spinning globe, I wanted to be of some help for other people. And that's just was what my heart wanted. And I feel that I'm accomplishing that.
I really think that kindness goes a long way. In my newsletter, I have one article a week as of now that's called Longevity because I
I
believe in
love
the
that.
power
Yeah.
of bringing joy. And so I thoroughly enjoy what you're saying about using it as a medium, not only to just stress less because you have to, like, science says stress less. Okay, great. Like it's the number one killer. But a lot of people struggle letting go. And so
Right.
having literal things that can help you loosen the reins, I think
Yeah.
that sounds like a really good means to an end. And so sauna is just, as you're saying, it's one application to being a more decent human because you're not on edge all the time.
Well, also, there's a lot of things that I know I should do to be healthier. And, if I eat wheatgrass, or if I, exercise and do all these things, the easiest thing to do for your health is you just come into this place, you sit down, maybe listen to some music, maybe a book on tape. You don't have to do a thing. You just sit, and then
Mm,
come out and you're transformed. You know anything else that is so simple, so easy, so approachable? Just come in and sit for 20 minutes, come out, and it will save your life in more ways than one.
Wow. I think that, I think that is it's the ritual too, which it sounds like is part of the magic. It's the
Yes,
ritual of going and giving yourself permission
yes,
to let go.
yeah. And you don't, how many self-help things are people doing right now that they're going to not be doing in February, because of the New Year's, and I'm going to do this, and I'm never going to eat ice cream again, or blah blah blah. I'm going to work out, 20 times a week, and then those seem to peter out. But sauna is one of those things because it's just, my sauna calls me, you know. It's called. I want to just go in and sit down and relax, and anybody can do that.
And, and this isn't to take away from sauna, but I feel like what our conversation's really raising is whether it is sauna or something else, having that thing that
Mm-hmm.
you can reliably turn to as a way to cue your body to know, okay, this is relax time. This is not only me time, because that sounds, I think sometimes it has a selfish connotation, but
Yeah.
this is time to allow my body to recharge in a way that's not forcibly going to bed at night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a difficult pill to swallow.
What else do you think, this idea of infrared, is there anything else that has infrared in it that like humans can use, or is this found in the
Yeah.
sun? How does that work?
Yeah. So infrared wavelengths come from the sun, and infrared is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. If you ever walk by a brick building, let's say, that's been uh, warmed by the rays of the sun during the day, and maybe a cloud has covered the sun, but you walk by that brick wall, you feel that energy, that heat coming off of it, and it just feels so good. That's infrared. Infrared is ubiquitous. We give off infrared. So it's everywhere. It's the friendliest, most common thing in our world.
It's the friendliest wave.
Yeah.
That's so in a nutshell though, it's heat.
Yes, it's heat, but there's different ways of, like, if you have forced air, heat in your home, it's coming out of the blower, and that's convection. And then you have a conductive heat. That's when you hold a pan and maybe the handle is hot. It's direct. And this type is just coming through the air. All right. And that way it can penetrate into the soft tissue and do what it has to do. One thing I didn't bring up when we were talking about toxins, that that there's 80,000 toxins in our world now that our great grandparents were not subjected to, that babies are being born with, according to Environmental Working Group, 200 plus toxins in the umbilical cord. So you're coming into the world already with toxins in your body, or toxicants, as they like to call it. So anyway, not to change the subject, but I just wanted to get that so people are aware. This is not your great grandparents' world anymore.
Mm,
And we have to be aware of that and what that does for our longevity. These
mm.
these toxicants flowing through, mimicking all kinds of different hormones. It's a mess. So that's the other side of it too.
Wow. Yeah, and that's a whole different
Yeah,
that's a whole different beast. That's a whole different conversation.
that's a whole other show. So
It is that it's true. But so there are things we can all do today as we've learned. And I kind of want to just give a quick recap of what I took away
yes,
from the conversation,
right.
and then we'll sort of wind down. But the idea is that despite all the toxins in the world, you've got blood, urine, and sweat. So the idea is finding different modalities to clean our system in order to have healthier tissues, which means more mobility, it means less pain, it means less inflammation and stress. And it's also, so sauna is one such way to do that. And the infrared technology, which is becoming a scientifically proven way to help ease that regulation of it. But also, it's the idea of the side effect, rather, if you will, of sauna, which is the ritualistic relaxation aspect of taking time for yourself, finding things that make you feel good, you know are good for you, and that are easy and accessible. That kind of stuck with me.
Yes, I couldn't have said it better. The one thing that I didn't mention, I want to get it out there so people know, and it's called photobiomodulation. It's something that happens with the red light or near infrared light, and it actually puts energy into the cells, into the mitochondria of the cells, so that the cells will live longer in the form of ATP. So if anyone wants to look that up, photobiomodulation. So the red light and the near infrared cause that to happen, and that is so. If you can get cells to live longer, that is that to me is the definition of anti-aging, and that's what it does.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll try to link a study into the show notes so people
Great.
can learn about photobiomodulation. Again, another conversation potentially we could have about a
Yeah.
whole different topic in aging and getting more into the weeds of the
Yeah.
cellular level. Um,
Photobiomodulation is another whole show. So
so what's one thing that you do daily for your longevity, sauna aside, I'm curious, or one thing that you think is underappreciated when it comes to the advice you've received about how to age better?
I think that the one thing I do kind of naturally is I try to look at everything from an optimistic point of view and bring humor into my life. There's that, and then I try to meditate every day, and that changes my attitude for the better. So that's two things, but
The more the merrier. Two things is great. Yeah, for folks who do meditation, which meditation do you like to follow?
I do what's called just sitting. I've
Oh
done
my gosh.
many different types of meditation over the years, and it's just very simple. And it's kind of a Zen type of meditation. You just sit and see what comes up, and then you deal with that. And if the thoughts come, you just let them pass by, and it takes a while for that to become fruitful. But just sit and close. I close my eyes too. So.
It's so hard. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for helping teach us more about infrared and the ideas that, and the new, um, I guess, the new ways of healing that are becoming more popular. And it will hopefully inspire and give people ideas to think differently about what healthy aging and longevity could look like.
Yeah, the new ways that are old ways. Yes.
New ways that are old ways.
Yeah.
Fair point. Touche.
It was great fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dr. Duncan.
Yeah.